What I tell right now may be completely my perspective, and the viewers who are watching this channel may not completely agree to what I say. They might have different perspectives. Is God partial? Then I start to wonder, what is stopping us from worshiping God? Why do we need to use big languages, exclamations, all kind of jargon words to talk to God? If prayer is all about just talking to God, why do we need to have what has to go into prayer? A mere sigh, a mere breath can also be a prayer to God. So these were the questions that I used to start to ask. And then when I started looking to the problems that people are facing, thankfully for my profession, that is psychology, I come across people, especially when the college that I work in, with students who are coming with difficult backgrounds, difficult problems. They are from a secular background. They're not Christians. They might be from different religions. They come up with so many kind of questions. They ask, why do things happen this way? Why is my parents divorced? Why did I have a breakup? What wrong did I do? Why should I follow a religion that is only asking me to do something, but I'm not getting back anything in return? And when I get into these kinds of questions, why do suffering happen? Why do my parents always fight? I always come to church, but they always keep on fighting. What is the purpose of me living? Why do I need to worship? I can see non-Christians who are actually having a very well knit family, but as a Christian we are supposed to have a good family, but we're not having that kind of a family. What is going wrong with Christianity? What is going wrong with what we are facing nowadays? So these questions started to come about to me, and I was not having any answers. I used to wonder, why? What do I tell them? What do I tell them? I used to also have similar problems. I used to pray for certain things, and for years together I never got answers. Even in the Bible, we could see with various examples about Joseph going through trouble for no fault of his, for Jacob going through so much of trouble despite having the trust with his uncle, with so many problems in the Bible. David going through so much of trouble with his son while leading the kingdom, etc. Every single person in the Bible, Daniel for that matter, Job for that matter, a very classic example of what wrong did he do, but why should he go through so much of trouble? So where does free will come? Where do we lie? Why do things happen? So is it that we need to question God? Is it that we need to say that perhaps God will listen to us? Is it that we are having trouble because of something wrong that I have done, or is it because God is testing our faith? We have no answers. So these questions started to come up, and people started to wonder, why do problems happen? Why do people have so much of difficulties? Why do prayers happen when you give money? Why do prayers happen to rich families? What about the person who is in the slum, who has nothing to do but just having hope? Only maybe once a year we go and visit them, but why do we actually not take care of these people? What about the downtrodden? 60 to 70% of the people are either in the middle class background or in the lower class background. What about them? Why are we looking into Christianity where we try to bring one person from different church to our congregation? We're never looking to people who are having no idea about what they're doing. People who do not believe, who do not even know that there is a God named Jesus. Why is there so much of divisions and doctrinal changes? And that we are trying to say that we all worship one God, but we come with different other doctrines. Recently, one of my student asked me a question, a very practical question. She asked me, so you are a Christian, right? I said, yes. Are you a Catholic? I said, no. Then what are you? Protestant. What is a Protestant? She asked me. And I said, Protestants were people who came after the guidance of Martin Luther during the Reformation of the Church. They protested against the Catholic Church, and because of certain practices. And then they had their own sect. Then she asked me this question. Okay, so Catholics were there, and then there were Protestants. Okay, but what are you? I said, I'm a CSI. She asked me, okay, if only the basis of Catholics that were the problem why Protestants came out, why are Protestants divided into so many sects, denominations? For every single place that we go, we have different churches and different things. What do I say to her? She's asking a basic problem with our religion. Why do we have so many denominations? Why do we have so many kinds of sects, especially in Protestants? What do I say to them? Right? In the overall, we talk about Christianity, but we are divided into various kinds of denominations. Though we come into ecumenism, we bring about all denominations together. We say in the end we worship the same God, but in reality, where are we? Are we? I might be controversial now. If a Jehovah Witnesses come to our house, right? Are we allowing them to come to a house and make them and give them a cup of coffee? They might say something that is quite different. Are we allowing them? Are we having a relationship with them? What is wrong with them? If we are having certain biasness with regard to certain doctrinal differences, and if the world is seeing that as a major category, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for the world to understand the love of Jesus. If you're going to say peace be upon you in the church, and if you're going to come out and start hating our neighbor, it's very difficult. It doesn't mean that we have to start loving our neighbor immediately. Without the grace of God, it's very difficult. If I have to forgive a person, if I don't have God's grace, I will not be able to forgive the person truly. But we're running short of time. We do not know when God is going to come the second time. We do not know when we are going to meet Jesus. Are we going to be with Him in heaven, or are we going to go to hell? We do not know. God is going to make it to account everything that we're going to do. Where do we stand? Do our denominations will help us in that? Do our prosperity in this world, whether we are rich or poor, help us in that? Do our differences, whatever may be, help us in that? These are pertinent questions that we need to ask, because that is something that is going to come to us at some point in our lives. Christianity requires a reformation as much as how it was in the 1599 when Martin Luther brought about the Reformation. Christianity requires a kind of reformation once again, that we need to start living a life people can understand. Theology is not for telling people about God. Theology is for your understanding. Because theology is not helping you to talk to another person, to make a person understand what Christianity is, why did Jesus come to this world, what is salvation, what is to live a Christian life. I'm really afraid that we are going into a sense of disillusionment that everything is going fine, but in reality it is not. If we are going to understand, if we are going to keep a doctrine still holding true for whatever the reasons may be, but yet not being able to talk to a neighbor, then we are into problem. If we are going to say that I belong to this particular church and this church is the only thing that is talking about the true gospel, then somewhere it's going wrong. People are looking to us, and if every Christian is able to live a life that Christ is, there's no need for any change in this world. There's no need to preach the gospel. Gospel can be just preached in the same way that we live our lives. Because if we are going to live a life with love, peace and happiness, that is going to be the best way of leading a Christian life. People will see that, and as a result of it, you will be able to impact Christians. If you ask me, what are the answers do I have for these questions? I have no idea, I have no answers, because I'm struggling with answers myself. But I feel that somewhere if all like-minded people come together and they are able to sort out all the differences, come out with certain kind of reasoning, why are we different? And even though we are different, we can bring about some kind of similarities that people can see. Ultimately, it's not for ourselves, but for the world to know that we are Christians. Every single person has different talents, different personalities, different kind of ways in which they live about the world. For example, not everybody can be a teacher, not everybody can be a musician, not everybody can be a photographer, not everybody can be a worker in the factory. Every single person, or not everybody, can be a minister or an evangelist or a missionary. If everybody becomes a missionary, who will become a farmer? If everybody becomes a computer engineer, who will do teaching? So God has given us certain responsibilities in this world where we are placed in different places for a reason that only He knows. But when we know that it's God will, we know that we are in the right path. The place that we are in, the work that we do, the family that we are in, the neighborhood that we are surrounded with, the friends that we talk to, the relatives that we interact with, the church that we go to, wherever we are, if we can try to live a life that is Christian, I'm sure we don't need mass gospels. And again, I'm not talking about only the city life. There are devout Christians in the rural setting. There are devout Christians in villages, in forests, in various tribals, etc. If every single person is able to live a life that Jesus had given us to live, the way He wanted us to live, I would surely say that in due course of time, we can really bring about a change in this world. But we really need to know what is the life that we're going to profess to people. Is it a life that we think that is comfortable with, or is it a life that the Bible tells us to live? It is something that we have to really think about, because the time is very, very short. But thankfully, we're living in this world where we have technological advancements. We have internet, which is the greatest force that can bring changes to every single person. We know that since the last couple of years, internet penetration is just going higher and higher, and people are able to access whatever they want to access through the internet, no matter where they are in this world. And the internet can be used as one strategy where people can be brought together for the good, for the best way in which we can preach the gospel. But again, we as Christians have to answer these questions, and the questions can be answered only through personal time of prayer and a personal relationship with God. Because what I tell right now may be completely my perspective, and the viewers who are watching this channel may not completely agree to what I say. They might have different perspectives, but it's important that we have a dialogue. We dialogue, we debate, we discuss, we understand what each other's perspectives are. We come up with something that is common, because ultimately it's not about me or you, it's about the common good. What is the common goal that we have in life? And if we can bring that kind of a dialogue, I would say that we can bring some change in this world. We need to come together as one family, as one Christian family. And in the coming series, we'll be talking more about certain problems that the societies are facing from Christian perspective, from common perspective. And if you have some suggestions, please do give in our comments. Please email us, whatever may be. We are very welcoming for all kinds of comments, positive, negative, and let's try to bring about some kind of change in this world. And the change starts with only a small step.